Well, good afternoon, everyone. I am Carlos Pollard, one of the Redistricting Fellows in the New Orleans area. And this is our second coffee chat. And today our topic is communities of interest. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yes.
Okay, Carlton, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, I've just real briefly, I'm Carlton Jones, one of the three redistricting fellows here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, mostly in the Baton Rouge area, surrounding areas.
And we also have Miss Lisa. She is in the Shreveport area, our third redistricting fellow of North Louisiana. And again, today, our topic is communities of interest. And the reason why we developed this coffee chat series is to really unpack the different topics that redistricting have within itself. The redistricting is a lot to digest at one time. So last week we had a general 101 training and session that just covered all things redistricting. Our next few redistricting coffee chats are going to unpack different topics within our 101 general training, because it can be overwhelming sometimes when you just have one big training that just says, hey, look, this is redistricting. So our team and I just came up with a way to make redistricting comfortable for the community to feel to create a safe space for the community to come and ask questions, to participate, to share knowledge. This is a safe space for you to learn and for you to share information that you have for other folks in your community to learn, because we all know that knowledge is power, and we can go a long way when we learn so much. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, there we go. So what is a community of interest? A community of interest is a neighborhood, community, or group of people who have common policy concerns and will benefit from being maintained in a single district. Another way of understanding a community of interest is that it is as simply a way for a community to tell its own story about what neighbors share in common and what makes it unique when compared to surrounding communities. They are defined by the local community members. And why is a community of interest important? Keeping communities of interest together is an important principle in redistricting. It can be especially helpful to communities that have been traditionally left out of the political process. Sorry, Carlton, can you see people that's in the waiting room as well, or am I?
I don't see the waiting room. I don't see anybody in there, but.
Okay. No, I just let them in. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna make you co-host. Can you handle the waiting room for me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. So why is a community of interest important? Keeping communities of interest together is an important principle in redistricting. It can be especially helpful to communities that have been traditionally left out of the political process. Community members can define their communities by telling their own stories and describe their concerns to policymakers. Without this, those who may not have their best interests in mind would define the communities for them. So communities of interest is a way for coalitions and nonprofits or community groups to come together and advocate for their community. If you split them up and dilute their voice and their vote, then you are not allowing communities' voices to be heard or their votes to be counted when electing someone to represent them. Okay. Okay. All righty, slide 4. So examples of a community of interest. So a community of interest can be defined in many ways. Race and ethnicity can play a role in defining a community of interest, but cannot be used as the sole definition. Residents may have a shared ancestry, history, or language. So here are a few examples. Residents who have been working together to advocate for keeping a local health clinic open. community members in an area who formed around getting assistance to repair their neighborhood after a natural disaster, a neighborhood organizing to have high school built closer to their area, or a community that advocates for having a special recognition of cultural holidays like Lunar New Year. Carlton, you want to go ahead and get into how can we define a community of interest?
And I'll jump in and kind of read through some of these slides. And again, we're just going through an educational piece for the team. So how can I define a community of interest? Communities of interest are self-defined and create a common story. They can be described by creating maps and narrative profiles and providing community stories. The strongest arguments contain both qualitative stories and quantitative data or statistics information. Where there are no clear rules on how to define a community of interest, the following are the basic elements. It gives an example here, my community and qualitative stories, or the data version is quantitatively data and statistics. Go to the next slide. Again, personal testimonies, and for those who have participated in Louisiana Roadshow, they've been doing a great job of providing an avenue for community organizers, state reps, even mayors. Everyone's had an opportunity to speak on these, but personal testimonies, and here's an explanation here. Personal stories are powerful. Find community members willing to share examples of things residents share in common and what makes your community unique. Imagine describing your community to a visitor from out of town. Does your neighborhood share certain celebrations or traditions, like street festivals or parades? Are there important places where your community gathers, like parks or community centers? What is the history of how your community came together? And Mr. Gerber was hitting on this earlier, submitting your own maps. Not everyone knows what's going on in Alexandria and is it in tune to what the community's needs are. So you getting a part of this process, doing testimonies, also submitting maps, could bring awareness to that, and hopefully could shift some of that map making into your neighborhoods. Next slide. All right. Now we talk about personal stories, but testimonials. Written description, and this is just real briefly. A written description can be used to tell a community story, describe what connects the people and why it's important that they be kept together. Whenever possible, include statistics to support your testimonies, including data on education levels, graduation rates, median household income, poverty levels, access to technology, home ownership rates, language isolation, voter registration rates, etc. This information can be gathered from the U.S. Census Bureau, universities, local government reports, etc. Consider using reliable sources such as the Census Bureau to find data on income, education, language, race, ethnicity, and ancestry. So, and then just goes through a couple examples here. When possible, use statistics on education levels, graduation rates, median household income, poverty levels, access to technology, home ownership rates, language isolation, voter registration rates, race, ethnicity, and ancestry. And we're really just tying into that personal testimony and the written description, in that you want to tell a story along with the data. And we've been harping on this since the first call. You want the story to coincide with the data. So not only just showing what the data shows, you want to have a story that goes along with it. So keep that in mind. And additionally, in the roadshow, you have an opportunity to submit a written statement versus testifying in person. Testifying on the mic. You can submit a written statement on behalf of your said organization. So that's another option for those who, Mr. Gerber, who can attend or looking to maybe participate in that way. Next slide. And we'll go through these community issues. Often communities get involved in redistricting because they feel their issues have not been adequately addressed by their elected representatives. Highlighting community issues in personal stories and written narratives help demonstrate the importance of having elected officials who understand and respond to community needs. Has your community come together to advocate for important services, better schools, roads, or health centers in your neighborhood? Have you worked for more recognition or support of your community, like having holidays recognized or historical events commemorated? Just again, talking about telling your story and having that information out there. Boundary maps. How can they find a community of interest? All right, create a map of your neighborhood or area. Mark the street names and significant locations. They can include significant landmarks and gathering places, including social service agencies, community centers, shopping districts, schools, and religious places. It may be helpful to have or create a name for your community area to be a reminder about what makes your community unique. Use Google Maps or other mapping sites to create maps. Paper maps such as AAA Road maps can also be helpful in drawing maps. There's some alternatives out there other than Maptitude is what we've been training on, but Dave's Redistricting has been a pretty good resource for us as well in map making, especially getting the data, Mr. Porter. So I don't know if you've gotten that far yet, but
No, I haven't.
next slide, Carlos.
Okay, share your community of interest. So the information can be presented at public hearings or in meetings with legislators to advocate that a community be kept together. Building community profiles and testimonies can have benefits beyond the redistricting process. They can also be used for future policy advocacy and coalition building. Furthermore, having the information on public record can be a basis for lawsuits to challenge redistricting maps. So just like Carl stated earlier, having that story with the data, so having your qualitative and quantitative, together will, I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, having your qualitative and quantitative stories together can enhance your argument or enhance your voice when you not only come as a community member and testifying for your community, but having the numbers to back you. The evidence really holds a lot of weight in your testimony because it shows that not only have I done my research, but I'm advocating for a community from where I come from, or a community that I live in, that I have ties to. Here are your redistricting fellows. We have Carlton Jones in Baton Rouge, myself, Carlos Paula Jr. in New Orleans, and Miss Lisa Tompkins in Shreveport. You can get involved by requesting a meeting with us. The link is right here, powercoalition.org/redistricting fellows. And I just want to let y'all know that this is not a cycle where only the legislative is involved. This is a cycle where the whole state of Louisiana has a voice. And it's important for us to use our voice because this is the foundation that sets that for us to find our power to make sure that we elect who we want to elect in the next 10 years, and to make sure that we are we are at the table. This is how we're building our chair to sit at the table, by advocating and getting involved with redistricting. And these are some of the roadshow dates that we have coming up. Like Mr. Gerbert said, November 9th is Alexandria from 5:30 to 8:30. And at each roadshow, a fellow will be there. So on November 9th, Miss Lisa Tompkins will be there for anyone who would like to connect with her or just need to ask her for advice or anything, like the whole 9 yards. At each roadshow, we will be there. November 16th, that's the Capitol in Baton Rouge. Well, it's at Southern University Capital area. Carlton will be there. I'll also be there because it's just an hour away from me. And this is something that I'm holding really near dear to my heart, because I've had the opportunity to understand how redistricting really is the foundation for how we vote, who we elect, and what resources come to our communities. And so any of the roadshows that are that I am able to make, I will be there. That's not in my vicinity. So I will be at the one in Baton Rouge. I'll be at the one in Covington, and I'll be at all of the New Orleans ones, of course. But These are some of the road shows. November 16th is Baton Rouge. November 30th from 5:30 to 8:30 is Covington. And some of the road shows, we are hosting a training/dinner the night before. So I know on November 8th, there will be a training, redistricting 101 training, and dinner will be provided. I do not know the exact location, but we can send that out to everyone. Yeah, we can send that out to everyone. I was looking to see if it was in the chat, but it's not.
I can put that location in the chat.
Okay, thank you, Miss Lisa. November 30th, we are having a training and dinner on November 29th before the Covington Road Show. And this is the trainings are to build a safe space for people to come together to learn how to write a testimony. So again, this is all about community. So we are building safe spaces for you to find your voice and to use your voice, to use your power, and let legislators know that not only am I informed, but I'm advocating. We are all activists whenever we testify on behalf of our community. So, you add that to your resume, you're an activist. December 15th is Lake Charles. January 5th is New Orleans. That is my area. So I will be in there in the flesh. January 11th is Thibodeau. And that is something I'm going to really try to push to make it out there, because that community is often forgotten about, I think. Go ahead, Power Coalition.
Hey, it's Taylor. I just wanted to say that the Alexandria Redistricting Community Dinner and Training, which is next Monday, November 8th at 6 p.m., it will be at the Zion Hill Church. That's 312 Hunter Street, Pineville, Louisiana. And I'll go ahead and put that in the chat along with the sign up.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And then we have January 20th, where we're going to be back in Baton Rouge, where we're actually finishing up, and that's going to be at 11 a.m. at the state capitol. And then in early 2022, we haven't found a date yet, but that's going to be the special session for redistricting. And here's our redistricting timeline that we are just currently on right now. So September 30th, 2020, that's when the census data collection ended. December 31st, 2020, the census data was sent to the White House. And September 30th, 2021, so this past month and a half, the census data was sent to the states in October 2021 through January 2022. That is where we are having our legislative redistricting roadshow. So this is where we're creating a space for your voices to be heard when your legislators draw political districts. And February of 2022 is our special legislative session. The state legislative relies on census data, public input, and experts to draft district maps. Hearings are held on proposed district maps. The legislative votes on maps. And after the vote, the governor approves or vetoes the maps that are drawn and presented. And if you have access to the chat, you can see that you can apply for a redistricting mini grant from the Power Coalition that will grant any type of special redistricting work that you want to do in your communities, because again, community is important. So communities of interest. So if you have a community of interest wherever you are in Louisiana, you can apply for a mini grant and you can build, program, and host events to get your community involved in the redistricting process, to make sure that we aren't leaving out anyone, to make sure that we are allowing everyone to have a seat at the table and to participate in this process, because it's a process that only happens every 10 years. So why not get involved, right? And this is our next coffee chat. It's going to be Friday at 12 p.m. on November 12th. And the topic is going to be roadshow lessons learned and testimony overview. So that is going to be really special, because I think a lot of people become nervous whenever we say the word testimony, right? So this is just going to be another safe space for experts, beginners, everyone, the whole 9 yards, to come together and learn more about testimony, how to write a testimony, and just some of the things that we have learned at the road shows and have personally experienced at the road shows that we've currently been at. And now I just want to open it up. If my fellows do not have anything to add, I do want to open it up for question and answer for the panel, for the people who joined us today, to ask us any questions, to connect with us, for it to just be a safe space, and we can just have an open dialogue.
And while we're hearing those comments, Carlos, I don't know if you had a slide, I can talk about the mini grants that Power Coalition are putting out too. If anybody want to speak in that space.
I don't have a, go ahead, Taylor.
Nope,
But
sorry.
like-
I just never took my hand down.
Oh, no, it's okay. So I don't have a personal slide for the mini grants, but I can click on the link that Taylor put in this in the chat and just go through the mini grant page right quick, if that's okay with everyone.
That'd be great.
Can you all still see my screen?
Yes.
Y'all see the mini grant?
No, we still
No,
see
it's
the
just the
visual of it.
It still says what?
You're still on PowerPoint, the virtual redistricting conference.
Oh, okay. You know what I did? Okay, let me get on this then.
And Ms. Lisa, if you want to introduce yourself, I didn't know you had a chance to introduce yourself.
I've been sitting up here under Carlos' other name, but I'm Lisa, the only girl in the group of the fellows. It's a pleasure to be here. And you guys, it's very interesting. I've actually been to 2 of the road shows in Shreveport and Monroe. So I think I'll probably be the expert next week talking about speaking out with the testimonies and all that good stuff. So you guys definitely come back Friday and we're gonna have fun with that.
Okie dokie, that's Miss Lisa. You know, y'all, I really do love my fellows. I'm gonna just go ahead and put that there. They've been a great help this whole process. But this is our redistricting mini grant page. And if you just click on that link that Taylor put in the chat, it'll bring you directly to this page, or you can always just type in powercoalition.org and there's gonna be an arrow that says redistricting. Click on that arrow, and then you can click on this tab, and redistricting mini grants is the first one. And it'll bring you straight here. On the side, there's a recording that the amazing Morgan Shannon created, and it just explains redistricting mini grant, like the whole 9 yards. You can listen to that and watch that while you apply for the mini grant, or before you apply for the mini grant. And on the side, this just explains the whole mini grant application for communities to apply or groups to apply. And the grant takes less than 30 minutes to fill out. I just want to emphasize that. I know, you know, certain words can be very intimidating, but like grants or testimonies, but we make sure that we create a space and we create content that is friendly, like, you know, I guess community friendly is the best phrase. So the grant is it takes less than 30 minutes to fill out, and you're just putting your basic information, your zip code, your area where you're located, what kind of group are you? Are you a 501c3, a church, social organization, or this neighborhood association? And then you just apply, and then you just fill out the questions that are asked, basically asking, you know, why are you interested in redistricting? What are your plans with the redistricting mini grant? Can you commit to bringing people to the road show, testifying and writing op-eds? And from there, someone from Power Coalition will reach out and continue the application process. And also, I do want to add that, you know, after you watch the video and you still have more questions, you can request a meeting with myself, Carlton, or Ms. Lisa, and we can walk you through the process of applying for the mini grant and make sure that we are helping and building community as much as possible, because honestly, y'all, this is for the state of Louisiana. Like, we aren't doing this for our own benefit. We are doing this to make sure that every voice is heard, every voice is amplified. So this is for the state. This is for us to build community. This is for us to take our power and make sure that the state legislative and everyone else that are representing us knows that we are here, we are engaged, and we are ready to take charge. Now I'm going to open the floor for my fellows, the guests, Taylor, for anyone to just comment, have any questions, or, I'm just going to put myself on mute and allow everyone else's voice to be heard tonight. I'm sorry, this afternoon.
Okay, great. I'd like to ask a couple of questions. The first is, all of the road shows, are they specific to each area, or are they generic for the state?
They're specific for each area, Mr. Porter. This is Lisa. And we will be focused on the 5th District and Alexandria area. There is a time where they do talk about overall the population decreases and everything, but it is specifically tailored for that area.
Okay. Will it be recorded? For instance, I'm unable to attend. I'll be out of town. Is there a way I could go back, or are you capturing that interaction or that presentation?
Yes, sir. It's actually on YouTube. You can actually go back and look at the Monroe or the Louisiana shows on YouTube, and Lafayette on YouTube. I actually pulled up the Shreveport one this morning and shared it with somebody. So they're still there.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So will they be there for the duration through February?
I believe they will be. And
Okay.
you can also watch it live on the Facebook page as well. Then they'll have that link up for you to see it as well. And we'll definitely put the link up on our page so you can see it too.
Okay, that's great. One other question. Can elected officials apply for the mini grants, or is that only communities of interest or social organizations?
It's only communities of interest and social organizations.
All right, well, thank you.
And I just added the Facebook link for the Louisiana Legislative Communications Office, where the road shows are live. You can comment, you can interact on the page. So on November 9th, when they're live, you can comment, make comments on it. But also, if you want to testify, it's best, if you're not going to be there in person, to have that written statement sent to them. But that is the link that the road show goes live for anyone who would not be able to make any of the road shows that are listed.
So Mr. Porter, I was hoping I'd have a chance to see you. You won't be with us Monday or Tuesday night?
No, unfortunately, I will not. I had some prior commitments made 9 months ago, so the timing just didn't work for me.
I do understand.
But I'll catch up on what's taking place, and I will encourage some folks to attend so they can share some insight for the community, especially my district, and also just to get a broader understanding of redistricting. A lot of folks, it's really something that it occurs only once every 10 years, so you can't expect them to be very familiar with it. And a lot of folks simply are not. They just not.
That's true. I know you and I had started emailing each other last week, and I dropped the ball. I do apologize, but they had me trying to plan a meal for Monday, and I just got sidetracked. So I do apologize for not replying back to you. But is there any way you could email me your address? I'd like to send you a little packet of some things that we're going to be giving out Monday and Tuesday, if that's okay.
Absolutely. I'll send that to you, Lisa. Thank you. And don't worry about it. I know everybody's juggling so many things at one time. It's not a problem.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, and I just want to comment on what Mr. Porter said. Redistricting can be like, again, overwhelming because it's a process that happens once every 10 years. So that's why, again, that's why we are doing the coffee chats. And if you all on Facebook and on here can share with your community the link, because we'll be back next Friday, November 12th at the same time, for them to just really get involved and see, just the first time you could just check it out to see what it's doing. I want to shout out Heaven. That's one of my friends from college. She joined today. She's with us right now. So,
Hey.
hey. So it's important for us to just spread the word to our community, because Mr. Porter has access to people that I don't have access to. Kevin may have access to someone I might not have access to. And that's how we build coalitions and communities for everyone to get involved. And what Ms. Lisa, I'm just going to go ahead and let them know, Ms. Lisa, what you're going to send them. But we have created mini guides, redistricting mini guides. It's a mini book that explains what redistricting is. It's not a textbook. It's a mini book, literally a mini book, where it just explains what redistricting is, and easy for everyone to understand. There you go. Look, Ms. Lisa has it right there. Ms. Lisa always stays prepared. What is it? Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. So Ms. Lisa has it. Thank you so much. But yeah, we've created mini guides for to pass out to community members. So while they're at the testimony, they can follow along, or if they have a question, they can ask, because again, you never know until you know. So.
And since we're taking shout outs, I'd like to give a shout out to my friend, Miss Ebony Mitchell, who's on the line with us as well from Shreveport. And Miss Ebony, I have a little package for you as well. I left one for your office mate, but I have one with your name on it too.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any more questions or comments, or just, we just want to make sure everyone's voices are heard this afternoon.
I'm sorry. When did you say the event for New Orleans was again? What did you say?
January 5th, January
Okay.
5th at UNO.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
What day of the week is January 5th?
Give me 1 second. January 5th is a Wednesday. Okie dokie. If no one else have any more questions or comments, I think we're going to go ahead and close it out. I do want to just pull up my screen one more time, just to where am I? What's open right now?
Nothing. It just says Carlos started screen sharing.
Oh wow. Okay. So, am I back?
There you go.
You're back.
Alrighty. Just want to promote this event one more time. Our next coffee chat is next Friday at 12 p.m. and the topic is roadshow lessons learned and testimony overview. So if you could, you can take a screenshot right quick, post it on your social media, tag Power Coalition on Facebook and Instagram, and just invite as many people as you can, encourage as many people as you can to join us and build community around redistricting.
And again, I think I'm going to take the lead on that since I have the most experience. Right, fellas? Go ahead and say yeah, Lisa. Yeah,
That's your week.
that's my week.
All righty, did everyone get their pictures? That I say yes. All righty, I think we're good to close out. Taylor, would you like to add anything before we close out?
I think we're all set. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you all. And again, our information is in the chat. If you need anything, just reach out. We're a call away or email away.
Thank you guys for doing this. Very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us.
All right.